What was Anatoly Dobrynin's role in the Cuban Missile Crisis negotiations? Have you ever wondered how a single diplomat could influence the course of history? Anatoly Dobrynin was that diplomat during the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. As the Soviet ambassador to the United States, he played a key role in the tense negotiations between the two superpowers. This crisis was not just a standoff between the United States and the Soviet Union. It had direct implications for Latin America, especially Cuba. At the start of the crisis, Dobrynin was not fully briefed by the Soviet leadership about the secret deployment of missiles to Cuba. In September 1962, he mistakenly informed U.S. officials that the Soviet Union had only sent defensive weapons to the island. This miscommunication highlighted the limited connection between Moscow and its ambassador at that time. Despite this, Dobrynin became an essential link for communication between Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev and U.S. President John F. Kennedy's administration. During the peak of the crisis in October 1962, Dobrynin held confidential meetings with Robert Kennedy, who was the U.S. Attorney General and President Kennedy's brother. These private discussions created a crucial backchannel for both sides to exchange messages discreetly. For instance, on October 27, Robert Kennedy communicated the seriousness of the U.S. military threat against Cuba. He also privately assured Dobrynin that the U.S. would remove its Jupiter missiles from Turkey within a few months. This mutual concession was vital in reaching a peaceful resolution. From a Latin American perspective, Dobrynin's role is significant. The Cuban Missile Crisis was not merely a U.S.-Soviet confrontation. It was also a direct challenge involving Cuba, a Latin American country asserting its sovereignty. Dobrynin's diplomatic efforts played a part in protecting Cuba's revolutionary government, which faced intense threats during the crisis. His negotiations helped avoid an invasion or nuclear strike on Cuban soil, which would have had catastrophic consequences for the region. Dobrynin's approach was marked by a desire to mediate tensions without rigid ideology. His ability to keep communication lines open with U.S. officials helped build a fragile trust that was essential for managing the crisis. This diplomatic style contrasted with the often confrontational rhetoric of the time, showing that dialogue could prevail even in moments of extreme tension. In practical terms, Dobrynin's role during the Cuban Missile Crisis highlights the importance of diplomacy and backchannel communications in resolving conflicts involving Latin America during the Cold War. It also illustrates how Latin American countries like Cuba became focal points in global power struggles, with their futures often decided through negotiations between distant superpowers. Understanding Dobrynin's contributions helps appreciate the complex interplay of international diplomacy, regional sovereignty, and Cold War politics in Latin America's history.